Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to The Modern Spiritualist. My name is Raheem. We're going to look at May for you. You can use this for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node, or really any placement that you value in your chart. That's fine. It'll work. Using Quantum Tarot today, there's no reversals in this deck, plus a Threads of Fate Oracle card, which I'm going to use for your Catalyst. Your Catalyst card is going to serve as kind of the major theme or the highest vibration possible in accordance with this spread this month. So if you're using this primarily and you get lost in process throughout the month, you can always refer back to the Catalyst energy to remind you what the hell is going on here. So let's get started. Starting with your Catalyst, I pulled the release card. It came out in reverse. And so what I'm feeling is, for those of you that work with crystals or know a little bit about crystals, the image I'm getting is like a selenite wand. If you know what selenite is, they sell them. Selenite kind of forms in these weird sheets that don't allow you to create I mean, you can make a tumble stone out of them, but even when you do that, they're like square, right? So usually they'll come in, I think they do come in like spheres sometimes, but I could be wrong. Anyway, selenite usually is sold in these big wands, right? So there's these long stick things, and they're used basically for cleansing. Like you can cleanse other stones with them. They don't need to be recharged, but they're great for cleansing and recharging other things. I actually have a selenite wand on my tarot decks, just kind of when they're at rest, so that they're just continually kind of coming in with new energy. And so yeah, anyway, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this selenite wand kind of coming down around your field and kind of cleansing you from above and down, and then what's old is just kind of being released down into the earth. And it feels very good. So you have a really good opportunity in this month to just kind of let go of what doesn't serve you and just bring in new energy from the cosmos, right? And so I think ideally, and it doesn't seem like it's a struggle, it seems like it's coming down pretty naturally. It seems like ideally you'd be in a place with this energy where you're allowing light from the highest power to come in and cleanse your field, right? To just kind of pour into your body at all levels. And as it comes in, it's basically acting as a selenite wand. And the light is kind of cleansing, purifying you, and removing any dense or stagnant energies that you no longer need, which you'll then have to make the conscious, active choice to release through your feet and down into the ground. And basically all that old energy, the earth can then recycle and reuse. So that is what's on the docket for you. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory, because it's really just about what your intention is with it, what you are allowing, surrendering to the universe a little bit, and also surrendering the things that you no longer need, like being able to let go and release. I think the only hang up here is if you're struggling with letting go. But that's the only clear warning I really see, because it looks like whether you're fully aware of it or not, or have fully chosen to go down this path, it's already opening up for you. Something has been opened up in your field recently, it seems like, where it's just a lot easier to let light come in, let cosmic light come into your field, into the top of your head, pouring in this way, and that's hence the reversal. It's not coming up from the earth, it's coming down from the cosmos. Because you can release both ways, and this is just saying it's this. Naturally, the energy that you're working with, the natural course of action would be to let cosmic light in and then release down instead of the other way around. So that's all that means. It really is a good energy. It's a very self-explanatory energy. It's about release. It's about letting go of things that you don't need to carry with you into your future, letting go of old baggage. And that's just a natural cleaning process wherever you are, whether you're releasing really, really big baggage, or whether this is kind of more of a check-in or checkpoint clean up, right? Or clean out. You just need to upgrade your energy system every once in a while. And part of maintaining good energy hygiene is making sure that you're on a regular basis releasing old energy that you don't need in some way. So this could, you could do this in a lot of ways. If you are an energy practitioner, you can just literally do it with your conscious awareness. If you need a little more help, there's things you could do, like Epsom salt baths are good for this. It helps your body release toxins, so that's a great way to do it, especially since we're releasing into the earth. This is about what your body really needs to release on a physical level, and so, good month for a juice cleanse, maybe. Good month to Good month for fasting if you do things like that. I'm not telling you have to fast, but if you already kind of are inclined, it's a good month for that, whether it's like intermittent fasting or something bigger. It's a good month for cleaning out your house, even, is a good manifestation of this energy. Just like throwing out old stuff that you don't need, like actual items and things like that. Good month to vent to a friend, to just release, get some stuff off your chest. Although I would say that's more of like an up release, but it's not like you can't do that. If we're really keeping this in the physical body, though, which is what seems to be happening, any kind of movement-based work is good, body work is good. So whether that's sports, martial arts, dancing, getting a massage, acupuncture, all good. Acupuncture would be really good. That's dropping in specifically for somebody. Acupuncture would be really good. What else? I'll leave it at that. So within that, you can be creative and go to the thing that fits your life, right? To kind of release this energy, and you'll be good to go. But it seems like it's a really beautiful deep cleaning. If you're totally showing up willing to let go of what you don't need, and you can just kind of unattach yourself from whatever needs to be cleaned out, then it's all just going to feel like a big spirit bath, and that's going to be good. Even a sound bath or something would actually be really good, because the vibration of a sound bath cleans things out of your body on a physical level. So that's another good one. Okay, let's move on. Moving into the Celtic Cross spread, we have the Nine of Cups energy right at the center. This is a great card. This is the wish fulfillment card. This is about you making the active choice to continue to move towards your destiny and your desire and the things that you want in your life. There's something specific to the card in this deck, the Nine of Cups card in this deck, that stands out to me. And in a lot of other decks, the Nine of Cups energy shows up kind of like it's just like a gift from the universe, and you're just kind of radiating or basking in it. I feel like that is a really good vibrational match for this energy, and that's totally at play here. But something about the energy of this card is a lot more, I don't know, maybe like free will oriented than some of the others. Not that the other ones aren't, but there's something about like really standing up in your power and saying, this is what I want and I'm going to get it. It's almost fiery, and I don't get it from other Nine of Cups cards, but I get it from this one. This kind of feeling of like, where there's a will, there's a way. So as long as you can stand up and say, yes, this is what I want, and nothing's going to stop me, right? That's it's like a very warriorship energy that is unique to this, and I'm really feeling that very strongly. Yeah. Because there's a big difference between telling yourself, I deserve what I want and I'm going to get it, and just saying it for an affirmation to try to convince yourself. And it's another thing entirely to say, yes, I deserve what I want, I'm going to get it, and to 100% mean it in every fiber of your being. And that is really what this is trying to get you to do. Can you get to a place where 100% of you is confident and willing to put in the work and willing to receive and willing to say, yes, I deserve this? It's that finality, that totality of it, rather than I'm just playing with an affirmation here to try to get myself, and that's fine too, and that's where you start out. But this is like the next step of like, after you're playing with the affirmations and not quite knowing if they're going to work for you, or if you even believe it yourself or whatever, the next step in that, or maybe a few steps later, to be honest, is being able to stand in that affirmation completely 100% in your current time power and mean it and trust it. So that is what this is really asking you to do. Don't just play around with affirmations, mean it. And to really mean it, you have to really know what you want and know that you have what it takes, that you have the capability, right? So it's a self-worth issue, and it's a do I really know what I want issue. So those are the two things I would focus on this month: self-worth and what do you really want. If there was nothing you had to compromise on, if there were no restrictions, if you weren't doing what you think other people want you to do, or you're not being who you think other people want you to be, what do you really want? What do you really want to go after from like the innermost corners of your own soul, right? Uninfluenced by the noise of the world. What do you want? Okay, and crossing that energy is the Magician. It's the manifestation card. The Magician is a master of alchemy, of the laws of nature and the laws of metaphysics, and uses those laws in accordance with each other to create the reality that they are in, and they have total control of that, right? It's the work I do. So Magician energy is crossing this. And that totally matches what I already said, actually. It's, if this is the desire, if this is the thing itself and the power to get it, this is the version of you that has no doubt in their mind that this is achievable. And I think even beyond that, getting to that place is about understanding that you already have it inside of you. There was something I read recently. Oh yeah, I don't remember who said it, but somebody said having is the evidence of wanting. Having is evidence of wanting. So whatever you want is something that you pursue, and through that pursuit, you get it. So like having a house, having a family, having clothes that you like, having electronics, having hobbies, having a job. Everything that you have in your life is because somebody in you desired it, right? And there's shadow patterns that desire things that we consciously don't desire, of course, and there's also things we consciously desire that we get. There's things we take, there's things we take for granted, like a bed at night, clean water, that, we would seriously be wanting if we lacked it. So having is evidence of wanting, which means there's nothing wrong with wanting what you don't have, because how else are you going to get it, right? So pay attention to your desires, pay attention to your wants and needs on every level, even the dark stuff. It doesn't mean, if there's a shadow energy in you that is, that would be problematic in its extreme, that does not mean that you don't give it energy in its some sort of internal way, right? And sometimes that's just like appreciating or accepting yourself for everything that you are, including your primal nature, or the things that our collective has kind of taught us is wrong in some way. And things aren't wrong on the internal level. It's just life. It's just humanity. Things are wrong when we start acting on things that we probably shouldn't act on. But usually that's because we get to a point where we've repressed an urge or something that we want or desire to such an extent that it has to push out. And so to avoid that, to avoid the repression, is like give yourself the little things. Anyway, my point being, the magician has everything inside of them already. Good, bad, ugly, beautiful, right? All of it. That's the gift of humanity, is not to alienate those that don't like the word God, because I totally get it, but I'm still just going to use it for the sake of argument. The gift of humanity is that God made humanity in their image, in God's image, right? So what that really means, underneath the surface level interpretation of it, what that really means from the perspective of the magician is you're infinite. You have infinite access to everything inside you. The entire animal kingdom, all the diversity on this planet, all the plants, all the minerals, every emotion that exists, every potential, every possibility, it is all within you, right? And what makes us individuals is the proportions in which that shows up, and the variance in which certain things are developed in our character, right? So what do you want, and how can you give it to yourself inside yourself before manifesting it in the physical material world? And there was something else that came up, a variance of that dropped in that I just lost. It dropped in and then I lost it the second it dropped in. Through the recognition that we already have everything that we could possibly want inside of us, the seed of everything, the seed of potential, right? Then we can get to a place where we're actually, we feel fulfilled in the moment, because we feel like we already have that thing inherently. And that's when we can start kind of making things happen and attracting things in the physical material world. So, this wish fulfillment thing, it's always an inside job. If you're waiting for the thing to come to you, it's harder. Sometimes things do come to us. I'm not saying they don't, but usually because we're in a state of some sort of acceptance of what we want and that we're deserving of it, generally speaking. So if you can get yourself to a place where these wishes, big or small, whether it's one of them or 100 of them, if you can get to a place this month where you recognize that you want, on some level you already have it, otherwise you wouldn't be able to recognize the desire for what it is, then you can achieve it. It's possible for you, and you already have it in so many ways, right? So make note of that. In what way do I have what I want in small ways, and how can I kind of maximize on that, right? In general, everything, energy, in general, everything is energy. And those variances of energy are just an aspect of certain kinds of power. Like if every emotion is an energy, right? It's a vibration. Then gratitude could be called a specific power, right? On the flip side of that, like sadness or anger could be called a specific power. And power in general, any power, just wants to make more of itself. Like, and you can think of that on the physical level in terms of like animals and human beings. And all life wants to reproduce, wants to make more of itself. That's because, you're a power source, or that animal, or that human, or that plant, all power sources, right, that wants to make more of itself. Power just wants to make more of itself. So the more that you consciously pay attention to, the more power that you state that you want or you invoke within your being, the more that's going to spread. So I think about, I like gratitude because it really is, it's a magnet. Its frequency is a literal magnet that is really good for manifestation, because gratitude is the essence of appreciating what you have and feeling like you have enough. And when you feel like you have enough, you start to attract more into your life, this feeling of having enough, right? So I love gratitude. And gratitude is a power that wants to make more of itself, like any other power. So if you can have gratitude for what you already have, and have gratitude for the fact that you inherently have what you want, and then the journey to maximize it in the physical world, it's really, then you're not coming from a place of lack, right? You're coming from a place of, I already have everything. What in me wants to make more of itself? And now you're on track to really manifest. Because if we perceive lack, that's what we create. If we don't perceive lack, then we can't create lack. You know what I mean? So you have everything inside you, you're infinite. What do you want? How can you make more of it, right? And how can you feel fulfilled now? With what you have, and then by nature of that attract more fulfillment. You know what I mean? So just start thinking about that. How can you be more present and hold the future vision for what you would like to bring into your life? That was a lot of words I just said. Past affecting the present. We have the Devil card. If you can hear that in the background, that is my rabbit drinking water. I apologize. Can't do anything about that. Devil card. Okay. Self-restriction. So these are on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? We have manifestation, bringing your desires to life here on this side of the equation. Here in the past, we have the Devil, not allowing yourself to have what you want, restricting yourself, creating self-limiting narratives, guilt, shame, judgment, all the ways that we make ourselves small, right, is here on this side of the equation. These really are opposites. This is about restriction and slavery, essentially, and this is about liberation. So, in what ways have you restricted yourself in the past? In what ways have you prevented yourself from getting what you want? What stories have you told yourself in order to make that happen? That you're not deserving, that it's somehow not morally right on some level, right? Morals, or it's a human invention. The spirit world is amoral. They don't operate on that level. It's up to humanity to decide for our own species what we decide to be moral and immoral, and that's a subjective thing. So, I'm not saying that if you really truly feel like something is morally incorrect for you, that you should just fly off the handle. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, if somebody else told you something was immoral and you kind of deep down realize that you don't agree, and you've been preventing yourself from getting something because of this story that was generated by another person, that is not your truth. So what is yours, what isn't? What is true for you and what isn't is really important here. Because, at the end of the day, all you have is you, right? You're born with you, you die with you. So what do you want, right? We're here to experience life. That's it. So don't take yourself so seriously. Stop restricting yourself so much, and, be a little indulgent. What do you really want? And then just start to chip away at all of these, old chains that you may have been using to bind yourself to certain restrictions, or certain narratives that are way smaller than you are, because the Devil can show up when you've just outgrown yourself, usually, because this is saying, hey, there's things you need to cut out, right? Release. There's things you need to cut out because you've gotten too big. Your frequency, your field has gotten too big for this now, and so it's gotta be released. It's gotta be unchained. It can't do anything else, right? Like I said before, the momentum has already started. So I feel like this, you're kind of already been letting them go. And this is just an indication that, hey, there's another layer here. There's another layer of self-limiting narratives and restrictions that are preventing you from getting, what these are. For instance, if it's a money thing, right? If you want more money, I'm just using that because it's an easy example. Who doesn't want more money, right? If you want more money, but you have some sort of idea here via the devil that money is a sin or money is the root of evil, then obviously that's going to prevent you from getting money. Now, money is not the root of evil. Money is just currency exchange. It's frequency exchange. It's really just flow. And money is not energetically really much different than love. That's why Venus rules money and love, because it's just about this reciprocal exchange of energy. So in balance, money is not an issue. Money becomes an issue when people misuse it, but that's people misusing money. Money is not the root of all evil, right? So if you have some sort of idea that money is the root of all evil, and then you're wondering why you can't get more money, you're going to have to remove yourself from that self-restricting narrative about money, about what money is and who you are by nature of your relationship with money, right? So just things to think about. In your foundation, 8 of Pentacles. You're just learning a lot. It feels like you're really in a state of expansion, and it seems like it really has to do with like worldview, maybe, but it's more like it's like this bigger worldview thing about your relationship to the world, or your relationship to the outside, or your relationship to reality around you, right? And it looks like that's expanding and changing and refining itself, and that's supporting you. So continue to explore, move out of the addiction to the need to know, and move into pure curiosity, like the land of pure curiosity. What is going on here? And how can I interact with it? What do I feel about it? What am I experiencing? What do I want to experience, right? What do you want to experience? That's what's supporting you this month. So go big, think big, learn things, and make sure that you're just staying engaged with curiosity rather than doubt or addiction to the need to know, because that puts us back in fear, and that's when we start to stagnate and our minds start to churn and be less helpful. So I would just say, if you're in a state of really open, curious learning, a state of flow where you can kind of play with an idea and then maybe decide that idea doesn't work for you and then put it aside, like make mistakes, experiment, try things on, see if you like them, and just kind of let go of the attachment to something needing to be a certain way, and then I think you're good to go here. Crowning you this month, we have 2 of Swords. There's definitely some confusion. It's not as bad as 2 of Swords can be, and it usually, in this deck, it isn't. I don't get as much of a kind of like churning or fear or like, I don't know, confusion or chaotic response from this 2 of Swords card in general, and I'm still not really feeling that. I mean, this being in your crowning space, meaning that this is what you're thinking about, and 2 of Swords by nature is kind of a tricky animal because it's saying, hey, you have a decision to make, and you can't use your mind. And that makes us kind of crazy in this collective sometimes. Just kind of, what is the right way? What is the right way? And there is no right way. There's just the way, and your heart knows, not your head, right? So this is saying you have a decision to make and you can't use your head. But I'm also feeling like you already know that. So yeah, make sure that you ground, stay in your body, be in the world, be here now. Pay attention to your breath, feel your emotions, feel what your heart really wants, not your head, because your head is kind of a mixture of your own thoughts and also the thoughts of others, cultural stories, collective consciousness, right? So it's just not that reliable. Your heart can't lie to you. Right? I mean, it's harder for your heart to lie to you. It's even harder for your gut to lie to you, like your gut instinct, right? So let your body decide. And whatever this decision is, or these decisions, or yeah, it does seem like it's some sort of choice or decision. Even if it's which way do I want to think about this situation? Like, what is my perspective on the situation? Maybe you don't know, right? And so, like if you're coming out of money is the root of all evil, right? But I want money, right? And you're trying to figure that out. Maybe that's the crossroads, right? It's like the one that believes that money is evil, the one in you that believes that money is just currency exchange and you would like to have more of it. And it's kind of like, how are we going to play nice with each other? What's the compromise? How do we come to the same truth within ourselves, right? And this is how we reach alignment, is everybody in you is agreeing with each other, right? And it's a process. So you can't use your mind. You got to use your heart and your body. And you got to really, truly ask the core of your being, what is the way here? Because there's no right or wrong way. There's just the way that you feel is the most right for you. And the head can't make that decision. Okay, that's all I'm going to say there. I have a helping spirit that she'll chop off my head sometimes, like when I'm journeying with her or dancing with her or working with her, and I'm thinking too much, she'll just grab a sword and she'll just slice my head clean off, and it's her way of saying don't think, right? So if you got to do that, just cut your head off, you know? It works. New circumstance, 8 of Swords. Yeah, a lot of confusion. And if you don't let this get to your head, if you don't let the confusion get to your head, then you can work with it in a way that doesn't block your flow, essentially. If it goes into your head, then you're just going to spin and think about things, and it's not going to change anything. But if you open up to this confusion in a different way, then you can work with it differently. And I would say usually with confusion, oftentimes confusion comes up because if it's old confusion, which usually, like if current time confusion would just be like somebody told me something I don't understand, or somebody told me to do something I don't know how to do it. My teacher just said this to me today. She was like, current time confusion is literally only shows up as, hey, will you do this thing? And you think, I don't know how to do that, right? And then you would ask, right? But confusion, when it gets really intense like this, it's intense because it's not current time confusion. It is really, really old confusion that has been building over time. And we create confusion in childhood to protect us from a truth that we've decided we can't handle. And so we do have kind of this aspect of truth here, where the devil is kind of asking you, you know, what are the lies that you have used to keep yourself smaller than you are, historically, right? 2 of Swords is kind of saying, yes, you are confused in the mind, so don't make a decision with the mind. And also just allow yourself to not make a choice at all until you're clear-hearted, right? And so 8 of Swords is again saying, yeah, there's confusion here. There's what is really true for me versus what other people have told me is true. What is really true for my heart and my body rather than my head and my ego, right? And then 8 of Swords, just confusion all around in terms of that question, what is true, right? And Scorpio is very truth-oriented. Like, Scorpio is always investigating to find deeper truths, and so this is on par with who you are, Scorpio. And we just had that big full moon in Scorpio, which was quite a journey, I'm sure, for all of you. It was for me, certainly. So, you know, we're at a big moment here. And so 8 of Swords is encouraging you to inquire, who in me in childhood put up confusion in a particular situation, probably related to how you're restricting yourself, the decision you have to make, or what you want from your life, right? And maybe this decision is what you want out of your life, and maybe there's just confusion there. I think that's the biggest hit that I'm getting, for sure. So I think it's mostly, it doesn't seem like it's serious more than it's like, I mean, I want to say fun, but I also don't want to invalidate those of you that may be struggling, especially with the mind thing, because I know. But this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be, what do I want? It's you know, which means you have like a blank canvas, ideally. You can look at this as a blank canvas through which you can craft whatever you want and let go of the bullshit that didn't work in the past, right? And that's an excellent place to be. It should be exciting. So, yeah, with this confusion, it's confusion of the heart. And you need to ask yourself, who in me as a child was afraid they were going to die? And so they blocked themselves from the truth. They created confusion to protect themselves from the truth they felt they couldn't handle at that time. And so then you have to ask yourself, okay, who in me is afraid of hearing this truth now? What can I do to move through that fear and get to the real truth? And these are on other sides of each other, with a 9 of Cups and a Magician in the middle, right? This is saying the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. Okay. Your energy this month, the Phoenix. What I like about this deck is there's 2 additional major arcana cards that you wouldn't have in a typical deck. One of them is the Phoenix, which is literally Scorpio energy. Scorpio, you're literally the Phoenix. You're literally the sign of transformation. You burn away, you rise from the ashes over and over and over again. Release is about that burning away. And then what is rising from the ashes? The fucking magician. The one in you that is infinite, the one in you that has infinite capacity for change and for creation, right? This is who you're becoming. You are the Phoenix. This is your energy this month. You are in transformation, okay? So thrive, because you're Scorpio. Scorpio should thrive in transformation. If you don't feel like you're thriving, then something's off, and it's probably this devil energy. Who in you is afraid to transform because of something in your past that told you that transformation wasn't a good thing or whatever, right? Scorpio, you're supposed to be in constant transformation. You're not supposed to be stuck in the same identity for the rest of your life, right? You're supposed to move, Scorpio, so move. You're the Phoenix, you're in transformation, embrace it. This is who you are, this is what you're meant for, right? So feel that excitement at the possibilities for the future. Feel the excitement of this release, of burning away what doesn't serve you, of outgrowing yourself to such a capacity that these self-restricting, aspects of your life can't exist because you've gotten too big. I mean, that is an amazing work of art, I think. So, be that artist of your own life, be the art of your own life and transform, become something new, become what you've always wanted to be, because deep down you knew you always were, right? I mean, that's huge. That's huge. In your environment this month, we have the Queen of Cups. Okay. I believe this is the energy of Cancer, but I'm not positive. I think it's Cancer. So it could be a Cancer in your life, could be a partner or a friend. It doesn't have to be a Cancer. It could be another water sign. It could be anyone else. So don't get attached to that. But it could be Cancer or another water sign, or anyone that you're really, really close to and intimate with and can be vulnerable with. Let them be your mirror. Talk to them about what restrictions or limiting beliefs that you're struggling with, what the confusion is, how you're feeling about all of it, how you're expanding your view of the world, and how you're trying to come to true clarity about what it is that you really want, and then also stepping into enough power that you can just go get it, right? That's, a lot of themes that are cropping up, and, they're all related. It's ultimately to get you what you want, and to do that, you have to let go of what is preventing you from getting what you want, right? One door closes, another door opens, so close the right door and then open the next one. And there's a person in your life, because this is in your environment and it's a court card. There is a person in your life, and it probably is your partner, for those of you that have partners, but it could be anyone. It could be a family member too. It's like the person closest to you, I feel. Just talk to them. Just talk to them about all this so that they can reflect things back to you. And this really does need to be somebody who can really listen to your true emotions, because what can end up happening is if you talk to somebody who's a little bit too mind-oriented, they get up in the mind and it makes it more confusing. So you need somebody that can really listen to basically the vibrational essence of what you're saying, rather than what you're saying, so that they can actually reflect accurately back to you what's really going on, because sometimes we just need that additional filter, somebody who can take us out of our stories a little bit and cut to the essence of what's really happening. And that is probably going to be somebody that has a really intuitive and excellent kind of meter for the underlying emotions around what you're going through, rather than the content on the surface, right? We want somebody who can cut to the quick, not just respond to the content that's on top. Because if you're lost in the content, then somebody else getting lost in the content isn't going to help you. You need somebody that can cut the bullshit, okay? So somebody in your life is here for you this month, and they will really help you find emotional clarity around this. And the emotional clarity is going to clear the confusion. Confusion, again, kind of comes up when we're trying to spin our minds around something that's an emotional issue at its core. Spin our minds around the fear of the truth, right? And if you're trying to get to the truth but you're afraid of it, you just need somebody who can help you clear the debris. And even just having somebody in your corner can help you face that fear too, because it's not as scary when somebody is here to catch you when you fall. So make sure that you utilize this person this month. They're a resource for you, a huge one, huge source of support. Hopes and fears for this month. We have the Seven of Wands and the King of Cups. So we have the King and the Queen of Cups. Seven of Wands. There's a lot of different directions you could go. You don't know which one to take, and some are more restrictive than others. It's kind of like, okay, what I'm feeling here is like, there's a few different lanes you could go down, right? One lane is just the lane you've been down before, and you'll run into the same issues. You know, I doubt you'll do that, but that's a lane, right? The next lane is exactly what you want, right? The Magician, Nine of Cups energy, the going for gold, I'm not going to compromise lane, right? And then there's the lane that's kind of in the middle of like, it's better than the patterns you were struggling with before, but it is still sort of just a different manifestation and just a lighter manifestation of the same restrictions. Like you're making compromises, you're trying to get more of what you want, but you're still kind of in fear enough to the point at which you don't fully get what you want. Like there's obstacles in the way, right? And so that's what I'm feeling here is like, you know, you do have options here. Are you going to go for gold, or are you going to go for silver or bronze or nothing, right? And you need to make that decision, and there's just no easy answer. There's no easy answer because the gold choice, if you choose to go for gold, you got to move through all the bullshit, and you know there's bullshit in the way, and that's hard. If you choose to go for a silver or bronze, I'm gonna get more of what I want, but I'm gonna make some compromises because there's still just some fears that I can't face, right? And now you're kind of running into a kind of a double-edged sword that's going to be a little bit nebulous because you're going to be frustrated with these things, right? But some of your fears that you're holding on to are going to be like somewhat tamed, and you're still going to be taking other risks, and so it feels like the most confusing path. I say go for gold because what do you have to lose, really? You know, if you go for anything less than gold, you're losing yourself. Gold is the only way that you get you. And what else is there really? You can't step out of your own mind. You can't step out of your own body. All you have is you. So be fully you in this lifetime. You know what I mean? At least that's what I think. So here you're really going to have to take note of, you know, who in me is really reaching back into the past for these same issues again. Who in me is kind of looking for these same patterns. And usually it's just familiarity. We like familiarity even if it's uncomfortable or not good for us. And so try to not choose something for the sake of the fact that it's familiar, you know? And that could be anything, whether it's a person, a job, or just a way of thinking about things, or a mode of operation, or a belief. You know, all of these things, we stick to them because they're comfortable. We like to stick to what we know, and that's inherently a problem because what do we know? And how can we reach for more if we're not openly curious? And that curiosity, you know, only opens up if we come to a place where we, you know, can tell ourselves, I don't know. I don't know, right? So you have to be able to say, I don't know. I don't know what is true. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I want. I don't know what I want. Because only there, in that place of not knowing, that place of nothingness, which can be really uncomfortable, especially for our egos, because, you know, transformation requires ego death. It requires that we really let aspects of ourselves die and new aspects of ourselves become born, to be created. So it requires death. And so you have to be able to sit in that, I don't know who I am, I don't know I don't know what is true, I don't know what I believe is true, I don't know what I want, I don't know what to do. And in that nothingness, in that place of I don't know, we can be open to what the answer might be. And if we're open to what the answer might be, we'll find if we're really at ground zero, if we've really released all of it, we've wiped the slate clean, right? It can be so vastly, vastly, vastly different from what it was before because there's nothing left. If we hang on to these patterns, they come back into the fray. If we fully let go and we say, that's not it, but I don't know, we can release all of this, right? And then what comes next can be completely different. And if that's what you want, right? If you, depending on your situation, this could be all aspects of your life, or it could be one thing. You know, it could just be your spirituality. It could just be your job. It could just be your relationship. You know, it depends on you. But if you can just knock down the tower completely, and I didn't pull a tower card, but you're Scorpio, so I'm going to use it. If you can just wipe it all clean out all the debris, be like, that doesn't even exist anymore, in any form, then you can completely rebuild from the ground up with new roots, a new foundation, and now you've got a completely different energy, right? If you've got like a sick and dying plant, like sick and dying marigolds, right, in your garden, you could try to repair them and you'll just end up with the same thing essentially. But if it's the root system that's sick and there's no way around it, you just got to pull out the marigolds because they're just sick and dying and not that effective and not having that great of a time because they're sick. And then, maybe what gets replanted is a different species of marigold or a different flower entirely. It just looks completely different, but it's fresh and vibrant and new, and it's ultimately a flower that you much prefer, right? So just dig out the old roots, release all that junk, and then just start fresh with something. Doesn't have to be everything on every level, but however it applies to your situation, start completely fresh and see what happens. I think I might have to do this with the book that I half wrote, like a few years ago and kept trying to get back to. It's like, oh, I'm a different writer now. I have a different perspective. The story is the same, but I think I just have to start over, and that's a tough pill for me to swallow, but I think it's the only way. Because if I try to build on what I've already created, I'm restricting myself because I'm a bigger person than I was when I started writing it. You know what I mean? So it can be anything, but just start over. Just start over, whatever it is. Because that's going to prevent the Seven of Wands energy. This, I don't know which way to go. There's too many avenues and there's too many mixtures of new and old, right? Just start new. That would be my suggestion. It's paired with the King of Cups, which is the pinnacle, really, the highest court card of water energy. So King of Cups is the epitome of emotional wellness. That means emotional control without repression. That means giving all of your emotions voice, radical acceptance of all of your emotions, no matter how devilish they may seem, right? The devil is, we create the devil, we create hell, right? So the way around that is to stop shoving stuff in hell and start loving everything that we are. So give all of your emotions a seat at that table, right? Experience them all, love them for what they are, and emotions just move. So if you can accept something about your emotional quality, because we come by these things honestly, like say for instance, if we're just going to stick with the devil narrative here, and you're Scorpio, I mean, most Scorpios don't get in too much of a tangle. Most Scorpios in this current time collective, at least in my world, they don't get themselves in too much of a tangle over the devil energy because most Scorpios embrace that they are the devil energy on certain levels. And so usually that's not as big of a deal, but it's coming in pretty strong for me. So especially if you've been raised, as a Scorpio by people that have a very black and white sense of right and wrong, then you can really get yourself into a twist because you're a Scorpio and your kind of role in this is to explore the dark and push certain things and unravel cultural stories about right and wrong and truth, because you have the nuanced ability to do that. And so if you, because of your upbringing, have really gotten pigeonholed into a certain state of black and white truth, black and white morality, black and white right and wrong, then a lot of those deep scorpionic urges get buried and repressed, right? And you don't want to do that. There are ways to work with those deep, dark scorpion urges. And, there's obviously ways to express them inappropriately, but repression isn't the answer either. And when we repress, often we do express them inappropriately in ways that we don't even consciously see, right? It goes into the shadow. So, King of Cups is saying, unbox it. Take all of this shit out and see what it really needs. Here's my example. I, for a long time, had a really bad relationship with anger because I had one side of my family very inappropriate with anger. Big random displays of anger would hurt people, would be violent, would be aggressive, right? And then I had this other side of my family that's very emotionally repressive on all levels, including anger. And anger comes out very passive-aggressive and cold or misdirected. And I didn't, when I was young, I didn't see that for what it was. I didn't see that it was anger. And so I saw basically this extreme version of anger, and what I saw was typically just angerless, like just no anger or whatever. And so I just kind of got myself into a thing where I was like, okay, anger is a bad thing, let's put it all away, which is exactly what that side of my family was doing, which is putting it all away, right? And that creates a bigger animal, because the more and more and more I repressed my anger, the more I used anger in self-punishing ways so that I wouldn't hurt other people. And it was sneaky, it was manipulative, like I didn't even realize that I was manipulating myself, you know? And it was problematic in ways that I couldn't see. And I assume other people couldn't see it because it was very hidden, right? And Scorpio does kind of rule hidden things. So, you know, there's boxes, there's emotions you need to unbox. And the thing is, when I started actually actively working with my anger, I discovered all these amazing ecstatic avenues for my anger. I'm a martial artist, and that's my favorite way to get anger out. Sometimes I just rant at my helping spirits or at the air. Like if I have a moment where I'm really angry, I you know, go into my bedroom and I pace angrily back and forth and I scream at the air and I rant and rant and rant. And I say hurtful things sometimes in those rants to you know, other people that are sources of my anger, or you know, whatever, and that's fine. You know, I've gone through phases where I felt so guilty even having a bad thought about somebody, or felt guilty doing those angry rants because I felt like I was like hurting people. But it was like, no, if I don't air this to myself in a silent room where only my helping spirits can hear me, then I will lash out at that person, maybe in a very minute passive-aggressive way, or maybe I self-punish later for it, you know. But like, that's what I'm talking about, is like, you know, we have these things that we might consider evil or we don't want to do, but they just need an outlet. We're just human, right? We're just human beings, and humans have complex urges and thoughts and feelings about things, and we're vengeful, especially Scorpios. We're vengeful, man. We want revenge. And if you can just get those out through the right avenues, it's like, now that I've, you know, since I ranted at the air for 30 minutes and did all my screaming and did all my insults, the next time I, you know, see the person that I insulted, I've already gotten that out of my system. I'm not even mad anymore. I'm not angry anymore at this person, because I got it all out in a safe container where they didn't have access to that. They have no idea. They weren't hurt by anything I said. They didn't hear it. And everything that I said was just about my own issues, you know, and the way that I was projecting or whatever. So it's not even about them ultimately, and it's about me. And so if we can, you know, frame it that way, like it's just about me. So I'm just going to do what I need to do, you know. Again, like I said, my favorite way to channel anger is just martial arts. I just love hitting things, right? Sometimes I make little safe explosions because it turns my anger into ecstasy. I love watching things blow up, you know. Just do something that gets these urges out in a safe way. And it's okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with anything that you're feeling. It's all about what we do with it, right? And sometimes repression is the worst thing that we can do, even though we feel like it's the right thing. Okay, so figure out a way to let these emotions out and to radically accept them and give them the appropriate avenue of expression so that it moves through you in a good way. And then you can access, maybe even access this truth, right? So anyway, outcome this month, we have the World. So this is ultimately about your soul's evolution, nothing more or less, right? The Magician, what did you come here to do? How are you going to do it? Nine of Cups. What do you love about that? What do you love about your soul's purpose, right? Those are big themes. And the World card is like, it's the last of the major arcana. It's a huge card. This is saying that, like, A, what you're going through now, like what you do this month is going to affect the rest of the year in ways beyond what you can even imagine, because it's in dimensions beyond what you can imagine, right? It's bigger than what you can see as a human being. There's more going on. There's backstage shows happening with what you're doing here, right? And so what you're doing matters. And it's ultimately about your soul's evolution, your growth on a soul level, your expression of your soul's purpose in this lifetime. Those are the probably the biggest themes for humanity, is your individual reason for being here, right? So I think maybe, you know, what's going on is you may have certain like ego identities about who you are and about what you came here to do and about what you value, what is truly nourishing for you, your perspective of right and wrong, which is very fluid, right? And moving away from what other people have made you think, what the collective or family or whatever, what the past has made you identify with, has made you think about yourself, has made you think about the world, has made you think about your role in it, right? It looks like you're just kind of unwinding all of those stories and hopefully just burning it down to the ground, rising from those ashes like the phoenix, saying, that is not my story, right? This is my story. This is who I am. This is what I came here to do, and I'm gonna do it, right? So it's taking your power back on like the ultimate personal level. And that's huge, huge work. So have fun. I'm having fun. I'm a Scorpio rising, so I'm participating in this. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having fun. If you'd like to schedule something with me and talk about how we can have more fun, then you can do so in the box below. Otherwise, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see the next video, in which case I will see you, Scorpio, in June. Have a great month. Love you.